Good evening. Welcome to the March 18th, 2024 Township Committee meeting held at 7 p.m. at the Municipal Building here at 770 Coopertown Road in Delanco. Can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Fitzpatrick.
Here.
Mr. Olet.
Here.
Ms. Seuss.
Here.
Mr. Templeton.
Here.
Mr. Bartlett.
Here. Also present, Mr. Schwab, our Township Administrator, Mrs. Russell, our Deputy Municipal Clerk, Lieutenant Warren from the Police Department, and Ms. McFadden, Administrative Assistant. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have the sunshine statement, please.
Please be advised that proper notice of this meeting has been given in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act in the following manner. Written notice has been mailed to the Burlington County Times and Courier Post and published in the January 4th, 2024 editions. Written notice has been posted on the official bulletin board of the Township of Delanco at least 48 hours prior to the meeting.
And the live stream statement.
This meeting of the Delanco Township Committee may be transmitted via live stream on YouTube video. The streaming of the meeting is not intended to be relied upon as formal public access under OPMA, and if the technology is disrupted for any reason, the township meeting will proceed in person as an official meeting in accordance with the official notice.
Thank you. Meeting is now open to the public for any comments and questions. This is session number 1. If you have a comment or question, please approach the podium and give your name and address for the record. Ray.
There.
I was too tired last night. Ray Weber, 22 Ships Way. Some of our residents have received a letter from Delanco Township stating that they want to plant trees between the curb and the sidewalk where there are no trees currently. Is that true?
What? Who was it, who was
Who's the
it?
letter from?
From?
Delanco Township.
Who signed it?
I don't have a copy of the Shade Tree Commission, I think, probably.
Oh, yeah, so it wasn't us.
We don't know anything about it.
We don't know anything
First I'm
about
hearing
it.
of that.
Richard?
The reason why I'm asking that is because the trees, according to what the letter states, is that the trees, when they're planted, if there's any problem with the curb or the sidewalk, then the responsibility of the homeowners.
Well, that's correct.
Yeah.
That's the law.
Right.
That is correct, or I know, or the ordinance. Now, anybody wants, we're trying to get rid of the trees in there because the trees are dying, because there are problems, they're lifting up the streets already. We have on Pennington, on New Glen Boulevard, the roots are lifting the streets up already. And on Pennington, they're heading towards the storm sewer.
Mike, do you know
One right
anything?
next to the storm sewer.
Do you know anything
Right
as
now.
liaison, Mike? Anything about it?
This was brought up before, the previous township meeting, I brought it up. And I told,
Not the letter.
No, the
letter.
letter.
the letter man, not the letter from the trees.
Could you bring a letter or send a letter to us?
I'll get a copy of the letter.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'd probably, if it is from the Shade Tree Commission, I would also suggest coming out to the next Shade Tree Commission meeting and bringing any concerns then. Mike, do you know when that is?
Oh, let's see here. That would be Wednesday, the 27th.
Yep, just saw that. So next Wednesday night at 7 p.m.
I'll find out or somebody. With that, the trees going in there, the trees are currently heading towards the storm sewers that we currently have in Newton's Landing in a couple of spots. The townships had problems with these tree roots before going after storm sewers. In some of the other areas, they've had to replace the whole street out there over on the other side of Burlington Avenue there. We're gonna have to replace it because the storm sewer was clogged with tree roots. And Harry said a couple of months ago that they're gonna have to replace the entire storm sewer for that street.
Oh, Hickory
Because of
Street.
the clay type pipes. The new pipes that they're probably gonna put in are made out of concrete, probably. That's what they normally use for storm sewers. They come in 7-foot length.
Sometimes PVC.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, I would think,
But anyhow.
I would think PVC maybe. But, so have you brought any of this up to Shade Tree at all, these issues?
I talked to John Brown,
Oh, okay,
and he says he's never heard a damn thing about it. Pardon me.
okay.
So anyway, you normally use concrete pipe when they're putting that in. There's 3 ways of connecting those pipes together. One is by gasket, one is by silicone, and the other one's by concrete. Most people use the concrete because it's the cheapest thing out there. Just like everything else, tree roots go for whatever. They'll break through anything and everything.
Yeah, to get to water.
I've seen it go through cinder block, lifting up a corner of a property, lifted it up 3 inches, and the tree was only there for 30 years. I cut down the tree. I dug out the thing, because I was rehabbing the house. In my good conscience, I couldn't leave that house looking like that, with the concrete was lifted up. So people say trees, roots go, oh, they'll go around or whatever, bull. They go through cinder block, they'll go through stone, they'll go through anything.
Right, we've seen it.
So that's the reason why I'm saying, what happens is planting trees, and with the trees run out into the streets and stuff, you're gonna have more problems. This township's gonna be having to replace more storm sewers more often, and then in 30 years, you're gonna have the same damn problem, 40 years, you're gonna have the same problem in Newton's Landing and stuff. So that's something that the township should be looking at.
So I would suggest that you take pictures of some of these areas that you're talking about and take them to the Shade Tree Commission as well. And you may want to talk to John Fenimore and ask him to take a look at some of the areas as well.
John knows about it.
Wasn't there supposed to be a list
Yeah,
sent
there-
to them from you guys? There
Yeah,
was
I
supposed to be a list
thought,
of,
I thought you were
That
working.
was for the sidewalks.
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
That is
okay,
just for the sidewalks.
and
okay,
they have that list?
They have that list.
okay. But this is just as important, so if you could do that, Ray.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as that letter's concerned, come next Wednesday night, and also, you have my email. Do you have a way to scan, can you scan me a copy of that? Or-
Yeah,
Certainly.
I'd like a copy too.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make sure everybody gets it and stuff.
Good.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that, Ray.
This next thing is sometime, hopefully in the May time, I was talking to Lieutenant Warren here earlier. We were wondering of having somebody from the Township Committee and the police department come back out to Newton's Landing like they've done in the past.
Sure,
I'd be happy to
And have
come.
a
same.
I'd be happy to
meet and
come.
greet and, answer any questions and stuff.
Absolutely.
Just give me the date, I'll be glad to be there.
Yeah, and stuff, I know, and stuff like that, so as I said, we haven't finalized it yet, but it looks like it's going to hopefully in the May timeframe.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds good.
all right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ray. Mr. McNeil.
Mike McNeil, 726 Pennsylvania Avenue. I just wanted to speak just as a parent and as a member of the community, not as a member of the school board. And I wanted to thank Mayor Bartlett for writing to our state legislatures to highlight and to voice his pleasure with the proposed 8 cuts allocated to the district. Thank you for advocating for our kids, and I was very pleased and encouraged to see that we got a response from Senator Singleton's office. It sounds like, maybe there's some hope there, that'll be undone, and that, we'll get some of the aid that this district desperately needs. So, thank you, and hopefully things will get better.
One can only hope,
Yeah.
Mike. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Anyone else? All right, we'll close this portion of the public comments. There'll be another session later
Oh,
on.
hold on.
Oh, you come up, no problem.
My name is Brett, 800 Pennsylvania, 828 Pennsylvania,
Last name?
Sickwood.
Okay.
I just came today to try to clarify some of the parking issues that I guess maybe the township could be having with the size of the vehicles. I see in the code that it really doesn't give much information
What's the exact question?
Clarification, we have anything over 10,000 is stated in the code upon the street, RV, no RV overnight, nothing over
Right.
10,000. It really doesn't say anything about private on your property, on your, like what you own.
On the street or in the
No, driveway,
Driveway, driveway.
Is that something that, I mean, because I myself have had some issues with it, I know there's a lot of other people in the town that are experiencing the same thing.
What they have in their driveway, you mean, and the code enforcement official is questioning
Yes,
whether you have a boat or an RV or
Or commercial?
commercial vehicle?
Tow truck.
Yeah,
So, I mean, my question is that a lot of the letters that we're getting are very inconsistent, and they don't really make sense.
so have
Okay.
you actually had
Commercial vehicle.
a charge or something, that a
We
letter
had
that
one
came
in the past prior,
coding, like stating a certain code or something?
yeah, and, but the problem is it's not in the code. And now the new one that we got is it's referencing language for, provisions for a home-run business. We're
Right.
trying to do that. It's just a parking situation. There's nothing.
We'll have to talk more to the code enforcement officer on that, but if he's citing you for
We were
running,
cited for parking on the grass.
oh, you can't park on the grass.
We don't have any park on the grass. I don't have any access to grass.
Okay, I would suggest you reach out to Ed Ruggiano.
But my question is on the parking code. Is this something that is gonna be new, or are they looking to amend the parking code to cover
No.
this?
We haven't discussed changing any codes that I'm
Yeah.
aware of.
That's just my question is that.
Do we need to? Is that what you're
No,
suggesting?
I don't. I'd suggest that, this is as far as I'm concerned, a pretty blue-collar town. In my case particular, there's been no complaints by anybody anywhere around me, whether it be Pennsylvania, Laurel. We have a very good reputation with all my neighbors. So I'm just, trying to clarify, because it kind of is like a touch and go. I think the last time we dealt with this was September.
Right,
It's been quiet.
and it went to court then, didn't it?
It did.
And what was the result from the court?
The result was we had an issue with one of our listings. There was a problem with it, which we've changed.
Do you have a letter that you received on this, or
I have it, yeah, I did.
do you have it there?
I have a whole folder on it, yeah.
So what was the designation? Like, can you was the vehicle oversized, or was it commercial,
Yeah,
or?
I don't understand what you're talking about or what the problem is.
It's a residential property, and he has two big tow trucks parked out there.
Yeah,
Okay,
I've seen it.
that's the first I've heard tow truck mentioned.
Yes.
So,
That's
yeah,
fine.
sorry.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
seen it.
Nothing on it, empty.
So it's parked in the street, or parked in your yard, or
It's
parked?
in my yard.
In your driveway.
In my
I've
driveway.
I've seen it, I
Yeah, this
think.
went to
It's a big
court
weight.
last year.
A Advantage or something, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
And you were noticed about it? For what?
Well, it just keeps referencing 110-10-M7, which is provisions to run a home business. Like if I was to come and ask the township if I could
Right.
legally register and I guess have a variance, this would be one of the stipulations that, okay, you can do this, but, lighting can't exceed this, you need so many parking spaces, and one being nothing over a one-ton truck. That's not what, I'm not asking for that.
Is your business registered to your house?
So why are you parking a commercial truck on your
Just 'cause
property
I
then?
live there. And just like, a couple other companies in town, sometimes we get a call at nighttime, and I leave, I do the call, and I come back.
Well, we've cited other homeowners because you can't park tractor trailers in your yard either, or a tractor trailer on the street
Yeah.
overnight. It's the same concept. You can't have commercial vehicles over a certain amount of weight parked on your driveway on personal property.
It's in the draft, but that's my question is, because if you look in the parking code, it just specifically states on the street. Nothing, the street's not weight limited per se.
Right.
The property, it's off the street park, it's off the street. That's really
Yeah, I
what
didn't know we
I don't
had
have
anything.
the code here in front of me, but what I could certainly do is look at the code
Yeah,
and,
because
Yeah,
we
I don't-
did
I don't
submit
think-
a letter for clarification on the code to be more clear.
okay,
And we
when,
did get the letter back,
you said you got the letter back
yeah,
from,
from the township.
and what did the
I believe
letter
from
say?
s-
Who was it from?
I'm not sure who sent the letter back. That wasn't me that sent that out.
So you
No,
sent a letter to the,
We served the township, from what I understood, we served the township and asked them to clarify the code. This is maybe in more detail, the code. So when we received it back, I just have a copy of what we received. I'm not sure. who
Did
sent
anybody
it.
sign
Could we
it?
see that?
yeah, can we see what you received?
No, this was just emailed to us.
Who's it from?
who?
I'm not sure. I wasn't.
Okay, see.
Can you bring it up, please?
There's a-
Yeah, let's take a look.
right
We're
down the street.
grasping at smoke here.
It has vehicles too. Is too.
That's not us, that's, do you have a lawyer?
That's who it came from.
This Melanie Schroeder, she isn't from Delanco Township, she's not our counsel? Is she our counsel?
No, she's from my, yes.
Okay, so your attorney is sending you this. So,
I guess this is what they received back, which is just a clarification of the code.
Okay, so the township sent your attorney this clarification of the code. Is that what I'm getting?
From what I understand.
Okay.
okay, 29, she's citing section 295-9, which is the on-street parking code.
Oh,
That's nothing to do with the zoning, which is chapter 110 of the zoning ordinance. So you'd be looking for chapter
Chapter
110.
110. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk with Ed and get some
I'm
clarification.
going to return this to you because this should be attorney-client privilege, communication between your attorney and you. So we could certainly talk to Ed and our code enforcement staff and get back with you. I assume we have your phone number on file here somewhere.
Maybe you should leave it, Brett, because you have a neighbor that has a commercial, do you have a neighbor that has a commercial vehicle too, or a vehicle that has writing on it down on Pennsylvania Avenue? I think there's another,
There's a lot of them around, in the whole side of town,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's just my question was, if that street parking applies to the property as well. That was really my question.
Yeah, that street parking ordinance is strictly for the street. There's another section of the ordinance for what is on your actual property. But we'll certainly look at that more and get back with you on that.
Okay, yeah, well, the reason for me coming was, we have to go before that, I guess, on the 20th, so.
You have court on the 20th?
Court on the 20th.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, which
that's
is
Wednesday.
this week?
That's,
This Wednesday.
oh, this
Yeah,
Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay.
All right.
Yeah, I think the judge could probably clarify the
Yeah, the judge,
section of the code as well.
And
Yeah.
Ed Ruggiano, the code enforcement officer, will be on there as well.
Yeah, okay,
But we'll certainly look at that in advance as well.
okay,
all right,
thank you.
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Brett.
Brett. Oh, so he's going to court.
All right. Anyone else?
That's hard, yes.
All right, we will close this session to the public. We'll go to comments and reports, starting with Mr. Schwab.
Well, thank you. Number one, later on, you'll see the introduction of the 2024 budget. So I'm just noting we're getting to the end of that, and the public hearing will be on April 15th. We do have to send it up to the state, so the timetable will depend on them this year. Hopefully, they will have reviewed it, and any changes we need to make, we'll have it, keep that schedule up. Let's see. You also have on your agenda the authorization to purchase a new street sweeper, as well as a shared service agreement with the city of Beverly to use to reimburse us for 40% of that and to share that street sweeper. So that's a good thing to have happen, and that should be delivered and on the street in the next 2 or 3 weeks, because the vendor does have it in stock, and if all goes well, we can get that rolling.
That's good.
And the other thing is that, rather than call it correspondence, because it came to me as an email from Senator Singleton's office I passed on to you, same things we've had in prior years, where they're asking if there's any projects that we want the senator to ask for special funding. We did one for last year, and our process is that everybody's supposed to submit me as a central clearinghouse, ideas. I can put the numbers with them, I could put that together, send it back out to everybody, make sure everything that everybody wants is listed, and then we send it out to Senator Singleton, and he can decide what he wants to do. I'll even randomize the order that I put them on, put it in, and so that whatever anybody wants to put in, I'll put it in. So get some, it's due April 5th, but if you, those who haven't yet, get your ideas to me, I'll put it together, put some numbers together, get it back to everybody so they can look, make sure they're satisfied with how their idea shows up, and we'll see what happens. Unless anybody has any other ideas, that's the plan.
I like
Okay.
Fern's idea.
The school? I wonder if it would have to be named as a specific project for the school, because it's a project. So just to ask for $350,000 for the school, we need to name something
New roof.
There you go.
towards the new roof.
Say
A
that.
quarter of the new
A
roof.
quarter
roof,
of the new roof,
the
right?
roof.
I think it was
We're
$2 million.
trying. We're trying to be creative.
Yeah, so we need to come up with, Mike, if you know of a specific project at the school that they need help with, the roof is gonna be a couple million, but, is there something else or a specific, educational program or something? Okay, good, and then get some information to us so that we can include that in our wish list.
Joanne and Steve are here.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, what they're suggesting is
Yeah, we
we're
have
send 1 to 3 small to mid-sized budget items, max $350,000 each for his review. See, I always assumed it was for some physical item rather than a program, but all I can do is read what he sent, and I don't know
Yeah.
what, we just pass that on, and I don't know what he does or doesn't do. So throw it in there. All I can do is say that doesn't qualify or something, but, I'll be happy to put whatever you tell me to write down.
I wouldn't just include the school, I would include something else too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Couple things.
float some ideas.
Yeah, good.
Okay? All right, that's all I have.
That's all. All right. Thank you, Richard.
I gotta throw this out, get it off my chest.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
The state's taking all this money away from our schools. Here's a chance to put money back into our schools instead of, I don't know. I guess if I was doing my budget at home and I had something important as far as education versus putting a chip and putt in my yard, I'm gonna take care of my kids, so,
Right.
yeah,
Yep.
that's it.
Right, it's just that if we have the opportunity to put 3 projects, if we can pick 3 projects for the school, that would be good, but not just one.
Right, yeah.
You have to, but my question is, why are they doing this? Why didn't they just
Put it in the budget for the schools.
give them the
Yeah.
money?
I
You're
suspect
expecting
that
logic from
us
government.
asking for money for the schools is not what they're looking for.
They're not
We can
looking for
ask,
us
I
to
think
ask
that'll be
money.
ignored, though.
Exactly.
But I understand where
We're
you're
talking
coming
about
from.
for us, for
Fern.
municipal
It's
projects.
a hard pill to swallow when you say, oh, our school just lost $450,000, but let's put in for a new park.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's just,
Yeah,
sucks.
but the thing is that
They'll make a point,
if
they'll make a
this-
point.
they're not asking us to support the schools. The
Right.
school needs to ask for them to support the
Right,
schools.
exactly.
But I mean, we could still include it, but I think we need to include 2 other things. And maybe they can all be school projects.
Okay.
But I mean,
That'll be interesting.
I would definitely put 3 things out there. They're asking us for, I would do it. But
Oh, thank you.
I just think it's
Absolutely, Fern.
ridiculous that they're coming to do this now when they just did the budgets and they're taking money away from the school and they're asking the township, hey, what's your wish list? You know,
doesn't make sense.
go to the schools for heaven's sakes, give them the money they need. That's
And
crazy.
it's not even just Delanco, it's just so
No,
many
it's
different
all-
schools.
It's a- it's
That's
all
obviously,
over.
that's what we care about
Yeah.
here, but it's just mind-boggling. It really is.
It's crazy. It's not fair, that's for sure.
That's certainly an understatement, absolutely. All right, we'll go to department heads, starting with Lieutenant Warren.
For this month, so far, there were 9 police cases, with a total of 41 for the year. There were 55 motor vehicle violations issued, with a total of 166 for the year. For this month, as of today, there were 474 calls of service, with a total of 2,043 calls for the year. 59 motor vehicle stops for the month as of today, with a total of 318. for the year. As far as departmentally, finally, construction has been completed within the department, so I believe within the next week or two, we should be able to get everything put back in place. Everything else was put all over the place just to make accommodations for the construction, so we're up and running, ready to go now.
Good.
That's about it.
We'll be ready to start the next project there to mess it up. All right. Thank you, Lieutenant. Let's see, John's not here. Bev, anything from the clerk's office?
Just a reminder that the yard sale will be coming up on Saturday, April 27th. We have started to receive calls from residents who want to be placed on the map. The deadline for that is April 19th, I believe, which is a Friday. And again, the shredding and community cleanup days will be Saturday, 5/4, shredding here at the municipal building and the community cleanup over at Public Works. And that's about it.
So any of the stuff you don't sell at yard sale day, bring it here the next weekend and we'll toss it out for you.
Bring it right here.
All right.
That's the idea.
I got plenty, so get that dumpster ready. All right, Township Committee reports. Start to my right. Mr. Templeton, please.
I've got no report tonight, thank you.
Okay, short and sweet. Mr. Olet?
Not in order, but I've got a few things.
Okay.
Burlington.
No ditto?
No ditto tonight.
We did that last week. You remembered.
I did.
That was,
That was funny.
That was epic.
Very good.
The Burlington County Planning Board, they had a land development review resolution to update their guidelines from 1989, I think was what they were dealing with. And so they upgraded the rules, and there was good feedback, I guess, as far as situations that Pemberton and Browns Mills are having out there in warehouses, and they talked about that, but again, it's not a county issue as it is a zoning and township and state issue is what they came across with. So they said, folks come to the county, and because they're on county roads, that it's, that the county should have jurisdiction and be able to have some input in there. And the only thing that they, the county has is input going into the roadway, but they don't have jurisdiction as far as a warehouse or what goes on the property.
Kind of what we're dealing with here.
Yeah. So they had that, and, let's see. Then there was a session, there's a three-part session on Small Business Association that was put together, I guess, by Andy Kim, and there were grants and things like that the businesses could apply for. And let's see, the library met. Sad news there is Ron Naylor, who's been on the library board for 37 years, had put in his resignation for personal reasons that he has to take care of. So he would not be able to participate in the board meetings monthly, and so that he felt that he needed to step down. But 37 years being on the library board, that's...
Wow.
He's also on the history board, if I'm not mistaken, as well, right?
Yes,
Or
Yeah,
as well.
he is. Yeah.
his obligations that he has for Wednesday, the Wednesday
Gotcha.
night that we have the history board meeting, he's still able to attend.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah,
that
Ron's
that
a
has not
great-
interfered.
Ron's a
yet.
great guy.
Yes, he is.
He's the treasurer, too.
went to school with
yes.
Ron.
Let's see. And, we did our budget meeting, and let's see, hit one other thing in there, I think. The history board session, and Kate can probably elaborate a little bit more on that, but we had that this past Saturday, and we had a real good turnout, so. Okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Fern. Ms. Fitzpatrick.
Yes, I do have a report. Dysa Del Riv, registration for the spring sports, which includes baseball, t-ball, softball. I had indicated at our last meeting that it was extended till March 8th. I still have not received the final registration numbers, but I'll report them at the next meeting. Field cleanups were held for this month for West Avenue, Field of Dreams, and Walmsley. Opening day for spring sports is April 13th and will be held in Delanco this year at the West Avenue Field at 9:30. The basketball program is winding down, and their banquet is scheduled for March 27th at Riverside High. They will be offering CPR and AED training and certification in April and May, and their next meeting is March 26th here at 7:30. In the library, I just wanted to add that the library tea is this Saturday at 11 o'clock, and tickets are $20 per person, and you can actually pay at the door. And they're having a tin can wind chime event where you will actually bring your tin cans and you're going to make a wind chime. And they're very creative, so if it sounds silly, go. I made a really neat thing for Valentine's Day, so the library offers a lot of nice programs for us. I met out at the Field of Dreams for the maintenance contract with our new contractor, Jim McHugh, on March 5th at the site. He will be working with Steve Lennon, Harry Fox, John Fenimore on Recreation to be updated on the field application, timing of the wells, the sprinkler heads, and schedules for the field usage. We're looking forward to Jim working on the field maintenance. Seniors met on March 12th. The South Jersey Ukulele Band entertained us with music from the 40s and 50s, and they were kind enough to provide lyrics to the song, so we all sang along. It was a great time. One of the members of the band is a resident from Newton's Landing, Nancer Sear. He's also a member of the Riverside String Band. So our next meeting is April 9th at Dobbins, and we're going to have a pizza party. And somebody will be a speaker on sayings, like different sayings, what their meaning is. So that should be interesting. The Sewer Authority met on March 12th here in person. The trunk line project has progressed. The balance of the work to be completed will be lining the manholes and actually installing filter inserts. And this should be completed in the next week or two. 989 Coopertown Road, we're working with the county engineer to complete the collar around the manhole. Stylex, we're waiting for DEP to approve their discharge, so right now they're not discharging their waste into our system. Change order was approved by resolution for Vortex, and this is regarding the trunk line project, which resulted in a savings of a little over $23,000. The pump station rehab will be underway within the next month or two. The operator's report is on file, and Tom Finan gave me this sample of, this is what the resin, this is the completed product that is going in our sewer line. This goes in, they tried to explain to me, no, I'm not an engineer or anything, but it goes in the other way and it turns itself around. So it goes inside out, and this is what the inside looks like after it's done. So they told me, be sure to keep it sealed, it has a slight odor. So,
And wait till sewage starts flowing through it.
so I haven't opened it. So anyway, that's the sewer project that's almost complete. So that, yeah, it's almost complete. So Carolyn and I met with Scott Taylor and members of Recreation to revisit the waterfront park and the Babe Ruth basketball court plans, and updates and changes were discussed. And let's see what else I have here. Attended the recreation meeting. The flower show trip on March 6th was enjoyed by all who attended. Facility usage was discussed. The Easter egg hunt is this Saturday, March 23rd at 12:45 p.m. at the Field of Dreams. The condition of the fields at Babe Ruth and West Avenue were discussed. Plans for the Vine Street Park will be revisited, and the Memorial Day Parade this year will be starting at West Avenue because there's more space at West Avenue to have all the entities line up for the parade. And it'll be nice for the people at that end of town to see the beginning. I attended the open house on Saturday, as Fern had indicated, as an associate member of the History Board, and it was really nice to see some of the residents and friends that I know. I actually saw a couple people that I went to high school with, and who went all through grade school here in Delanco with me. It was really nice to see them. So I enjoyed being able to be here and to explain the displays, because I really know a lot about the history in town, and it's a nice event. We had quite a few people out, and I met John Burke, who has his display out there. What an interesting gentleman. He really talked about a lot of his family history. But you know, Fern, he told me he never actually lived in Delanco. Parts of his family did, but he's not from Delanco.
He's not from Delanco.
No, so I
They
thought
had a
that
lot
was
of toys
interesting.
to share.
Yeah, he
Indian
did,
artifacts.
yeah. And of course, the Board of Ed meeting is this Wednesday, but I wanted to share something. At a recent OEM meeting, one of the items we talked about was the lights at the rail, the river line. And Mansur Sear was here at that meeting, and he explained how his car almost got hit. We've had a couple accidents there because people are trying to get through when that's changing from one to the other. So Mansur, God bless him, he wrote a letter, an article for the Newton's News, Newtown, and for Newton's Landing, about the safety of crossing, and wait until that top red light is out before you decide to cross, because sometimes the southbound train will come, and right after that, the northbound will come, and you can get caught in the middle. So there's a nice article here. I asked him if I could have this printed in the Beverly Bee, so I'm waiting to hear from him. But I thought that was interesting. And then, to top off my weekend, New Jersey DOT had emailed me that they were going to do the striping at the jug handle, and what a disaster that turned out to be. I met with them in March, and so we thought the result would be they would stripe 2 lanes, one to go straight and one to turn left. So what they did instead, they striped 1 lane, so you're in 1 lane, and then you have a choice of turning left or going straight. So I wrote to them Friday. I got 4 emails back that they were out of the office, 4 people out of the 6 that I met with. And I haven't heard anything today about what they did, because they've just made matters worse for backing up traffic. And I don't know what engineer did that job, but there was no common sense used.
I mean, I understand what they were trying to do, stop people from the left lane going straight at the same time, but they really didn't use any common
Well,
sense.
they could have
Yeah,
divided it.
exactly.
They should have put the striping in
The
like
only
it
thing I can
was.
think of is it wasn't regulated width-wise to have 2 lanes there, and they couldn't. That's the only thing I can think of.
We did before. It was 2 lanes before, and it was marked that way at one time. And when they redid road surfacing, anyway, it's a disaster, and I'm anxious to see how they're going to
I mean, if you think about it, though.
correct it.
nothing, It's not our town, and it's a state road, so they're gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah, and it was a state I dealt with, and
'Cause
they,
that traffic's gonna be backed up to Chick-fil-A.
Yep.
it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But anyway,
They want
that's,
our
that's,
input, so.
that's the end of my report.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I said to the chief in my email when he sent that out, that all this is going to do is exacerbate the issue, because it's just, everyone
Yeah.
going back into 1 lane, and it's going to go right into the
And
shoulder.
they didn't want our input.
Because the
Why
issue,
why would they want input from people who are actually here? That's
exactly,
crazy to ask.
the issue, the meeting, the original meeting that I had with them, the issue was they needed to do something with the traffic that was backed up and going through that jug handle. So they weren't listening, obviously. They striped, oh my God, I was so upset.
Color me surprised.
It doesn't make any sense, because most jug handles have 2 lanes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it always, historically, that's always been.
Yeah.
Since.
it's always been 2 lanes. They just needed to stripe it 2 lanes.
Just to show that.
That
turn
you
left.
turn
Yeah,
here and you
right.
go straight.
Very
That was
simple.
mentioned to them, like I said, it was mentioned to them, and they didn't.
Very
Yeah.
simple fix.
Yeah. So, we'll see what
Hopefully, it
they
could be
have
a
to
simple
say.
fix again.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Kate.
Matt.
All right, Ms. Seuss.
Okay, I have lived here for the past 2 weeks, so
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Seems like it for 2 weeks.
I feel like I've been here every day for 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, March 5th, I attended the Joint Land Use Board meeting. There was one application, Stanker and Galetto, RLS, better known. They have their application in for 2 more phases of, I think, their 8-phase plan. We've known about this for years. They're finally ready to move forward with 2 more buildings. Basically, it's going to be the same size as what they have now, just completing it. It's going to be duplicate on the other side. But the article says they're quadrupling the size. That's like the long-term plan. Right now, I think they're just doubling the size. So anyway, we talked about the concerns with the noise because it is a freezer facility, the noise of the outdoor equipment, and they didn't think it was going to be an issue, that there's been a study before, and I think Mike was there, he talked about the concerns of the residents since it is in a residential and industrial zone. And they assured us it wasn't going to be an issue, that they would try to do any sound barriers that they could as a good neighbor. I also expressed my concern because they're adding a whole nother loading dock of, I think, 20 different bays, and I said, okay, so what's that going to do for the truck traffic? Oh, well, it's not going to change. I said, then why do you need to expand your facility and add 20 more bays if you're not going to have increased traffic? Well, we don't know if we're going to have increased traffic, so there really wasn't an answer on that. Anyway, the end result was we did approve their application, so we'll keep an eye on that. March 12th, I attended the budget session here. We finalized our budget. As you know, we'll be introducing that tonight, right? March 13th, I attended the code enforcement meeting with myself, Richard, Ed from code enforcement, and Matt. We went over all the outstanding violations in detail, kind of where everything stands and the processes of how we're handling that, who's in court. The list gets longer every month, I feel like, every time we meet, which is good because our code enforcement is staying on top of, these items and making our town clean, trying to clean up the town. March 14th was the recreation planning meeting that Kate spoke about. We sat down with the planners and members of recreation to go over all the park plans in detail, kind of where we stand with things, where we want to go, the timelines to get things moving on the grant project from the basketball court. So that's going to be getting started shortly. Now the seawall is going to be installed, fingers crossed, this summer. We want to get the park plan for the waterfront park moving so we can get that planned out. That evening, we did have our recreation meeting, as Kate spoke about. I was there to listen to some field request usage. And of course, the Easter egg hunt is this Saturday, so make sure you guys come out for that. Be there at 12:45. If you're any later than that, they won't be able to participate. The next day, on the 15th, I met with Harry out at the Babe Ruth Park and at Waterfront Park just to kind of go over some concerns I had with some of the parks, and also talk to him about the access road at the Field of Dreams, how that's going to be paved, and how I'm concerned with the speeders that already go down that access road, and maybe putting in some speed bumps. And he was surprised it actually hadn't been brought up before, so he was going to get some ideas on cost and present that to the committee as well. It is kind of a safety hazard to just have that roadway there and people flying up and down with kids around. So I thought that was something that should be brought up. March 18th, that's today, right?
Yep.
I think, yeah, that's today.
Sure is.
And you're here right now.
I'm here. We had, earlier this afternoon, we had our Public Works Subcommittee meeting with Mr. Fenimore and Richard and Matt and myself. Our first one, just to kind of talk about try to get a better understanding of our public works processes and why we do things the way we do, maybe kind of go over some planning as far as the parks and the facilities and kind of get an idea of how things work. I'm kind of, this is only my second year doing this, so I'd like to understand, the processes in all the different departments. So that's kind of where we stand with that. It was a good meeting, and I look forward to future meetings to talk about public works stuff, because that's kind of what runs our town, right?
Yep.
And that's it. That brings us to tonight, so.
All right, anything you've done tonight that you need to report on since
Nope.
you've been here every day? All right. Thank you, Carolyn.
Thanks.
I'll just say ditto. No.
Well, you were there for most of it.
I feel like I was. I attended a meeting with our IT committee last Tuesday to go through all the various required upgrades in the building. The new Wi-Fi system should be installed shortly, and the other items are in the works. Last Tuesday, we held our last budget workshop session, which I, along with the other township committee members, I can't speak anymore, attended. Last Wednesday, as Carolyn reported, I attended our code enforcement meeting with our code enforcement officer. We went through all the other open violations, and on that topic, I'd like to strongly encourage our residents, if you get a violation, just address it. If it isn't addressed, you end up in court, and if you fail to show up to court, you get a warrant issued, and no one wants that. Unfortunately, there's been warrants issued by the judge for simple things that a response to our code enforcement officer could have easily been taken care of. So just, in short, just don't ignore letters you get in the mail and just get things addressed. Last Thursday night, I stopped by our rec commission meeting and looking forward to that Easter egg hunt, and I hear the bunny's gonna be there.
Yes.
So all the children and some adults will be happy to see the bunny as well. I attended our Public Works meeting this afternoon, as Carolyn reported. I've had discussions with Harry regarding the flooding issue over the bridge in Riverside, and there's some more communication to come on that matter. I've had various communications with residents on various topics over the last few weeks, and it's always good to hear from residents, whether it's good, bad, or anywhere in the middle. I've watched the sewer main relining project over the last month, and I'd like to say, despite some hiccups at the beginning, they really did a nice job. I've probably had a better view than most with it, since they were literally working in my yard, and I had a big 6-inch hose running across my front yard since the sewer main easement runs through it. So they did a nice job, so 2 thumbs up to Vortex, ERI, and the Sewer Authority for getting this done in a timely manner. And thanks to the police department for supporting them on that as well. Let's see, and finally, as Mr. McNeil mentioned before, I wrote a letter to Senator Singleton, Assemblyman Conway, and Assemblywoman Murphy last week in regards to the state aid cuts. I received a reply from Senator Singleton that they're taking steps to address the issue, and nothing back from Conway or Murphy yet, and I encourage all residents to reach out to all 3 of them. They need to hear from everyone that we simply won't stand for this. So, just reach out to them, send them an email, send them a letter, carrier pigeon, I don't care, just get the message out to them. And that's all of the township committee reports.
Can I say one more thing?
Oh, sure, why not?
Thank you. When I was speaking with Harry over at the Babe Ruth Park, I addressed my concerns about the baseball field flooding and how it gets flooded there with some normal rain, and it stays wet for a couple of days, so the fields are unusable. He had mentioned that we really haven't done anything with that park since he's been on, and since he'll be out there doing the topography study for the basketball courts, he has to do the elevations for the pathway and whatnot. He said it would make sense if he did the topography study of the field at the same time, since he's going to be there. It would be most cost-effective and wouldn't be that much more of an additional cost. So I just wanted to get the committee's approval to ask him for a quote to add that on the topography study for the field.
I don't see any harm in getting a quote.
No, me either.
You guys?
Do we need a motion for that, Bev?
Does that include that part of Hickory Street too?
It would be the whole
The whole-
complex.
Yeah, it
The whole
floods
complex.
everywhere.
Yeah, it would be the whole complex at that point.
Because that road, not only the intersection, but I guess going from up there up to just about Maple, I think.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
Pretty much
Because
goes
it goes
out.
We're only
pass
talking
over,
about the park,
definitely.
not the
Park
road.
property, we're only talking about the park
Yeah, it
property.
would just be the actual
Yeah.
property.
The field itself.
The field
that
itself.
flooding there.
Road, they know what the road issue is. It needs a new pipe in there.
Which I think has been okay since they cleared it out.
It's
We
been
haven't had
better,
many,
But
Better.
that
Better,
pipe is
yeah.
actually cracked or something.
yeah, it's
That's
still a
the-
hot mess.
That's the, Ray had mentioned, but that's the section.
If
that
no one
needs
has
to be
objections, then
replaced.
I will ask Harry to give us a proposal, what it would cost for him to do the appropriate topo so that he could then make recommendations
Yeah.
on how to keep that a little drier.
Doesn't hurt to get a proposal.
Yeah, it's
That should
great.
be free.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
it's
proposal.
The proposal should be free, yeah,
A
quote doesn't
proposal for
cost
how much it
anything.
costs to do the work,
great.
to do his work,
to do his work.
the topo work,
Yes, the
All right.
paperwork.
okay? And Matt, you were going to ask about the
Oh, yes.
burn.
I actually wrote that here. I couldn't read my chicken scratch, so thanks for the reminder, Rich. We did talk, I thought we did a motion on this already. Rich thinks we didn't, but I'll go with his thought.
We talked about if we didn't actually
Yeah,
do the motion.
The Forest Fire Service wants to go out to Hawk Island to burn the underbrush, like they
Right.
did over at Coopertown, and we need to fill up that application and execute that, so I just need a motion so we could go ahead and do that.
Yeah, authorize the
Authorize.
application. Motion to authorize the application.
So moved.
Second.
What Richard said, thank you. A motion by Kate, second by Mike.
Prescribed burn, as it's called.
Right.
Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks. Just want for the record, in case we all burn
Fire
down,
chief
everyone knows
signs
you
off
guys
on that
approved it.
too, or,
Yeah, he's the one who requested it, so.
right.
Yeah.
Requesting it. If you
Yeah,
hear it come
yeah.
back to us, you know, I thought that was
Yeah,
something
we
that
have
they
to,
would.
we have to sign it as the municipality, and then they'll submit the form to.
Someone did make a motion in a second? missed
Yeah, I
that.
made the motion.
Kate and
Mike
Mike
seconded.
Mike second.
All right, so
And we have.
All
if
in
the town
favor?
burns down like Chicago did, and, you know,
Richard,
because
bite your tongue.
Yeah.
Mike and Kate,
I
okay.
didn't sign off on that.
All right, thank you very much, and let's go to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted with a single motion. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda. All consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes. Does anyone have any questions on any items on the consent agenda or need anything pulled?
No. Nope.
Aaron, you good? Mike, you're good?
I'm good.
All right. Ordinance 2024-6, amending Chapter 234 governing rental property. First reading by title only and set public hearing date for April 15th at 7 p.m. Resolution 2024-58, authorizing the purchase of a street sweeper from Northeast Sweepers and Rentals under a Sourcewell cooperative purchasing contract in accordance with NJSA 40A:11-1, etc. Resolution 2024-59, authorizing execution of shared services agreement with the City of Beverly for the purchase and use of a street sweeper. Resolution 2024-60, disposal of out-of-service office equipment. Payment of bills, current fund, $123,108.17. Payroll, $105,750.24.
720.
20.
What'd I say?
50.
Oh, okay, $720 and 74
$30
cents.
a month.
Capital Fund, $10,444.50. Housing Trust, $315. Approval of minutes for January 22nd and January 23rd meetings. Approval of business licenses, 2024-01 through 2024-15. We have a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Kate, second by Fern. Roll call, please.
Ms. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
Ms. Seuss?
Yes.
Mr. Templeton?
Yes.
Mr. Bartlett?
Yes. All right. Introduction of the 2024 municipal budget.
That's Richard, huh?
Richard, do you have anything? on
Yeah,
that?
well, just briefly, we have budget message with the spreadsheet. By the end of the week, we'll have all the hundreds of pages of detail on the website to everybody. We're trying to get this introduced so that we can send all the information up to the state. This year, we are state reviewed every third year, and hopefully they'll allow us to have the public hearing on April 15th so we can get it adopted, and then we can start doing the projects that we want to do. The key thing, I put all the numbers at the beginning, because there's a number of items, both the appropriations, the expenditures, and the revenues, and the assessed valuations, which are the ratables. All those things have gone up significantly, but one offsets the other, so we end up with a tax rate that's only 2 cents or less than 1.81% increase, and that the average residential property increase is $38.74, which is also 1.81%. So we're able to do a lot of things for a very low increase, and we listed the major changes dealing with the ratables, the fund balance, that's on the revenue side, on appropriations, the salaries, the things that we're spending on our employees on. We have a lot of turnover, both in retirements and otherwise, and there are costs to cover the increased responsibilities of our growing township. There was a policy decision to have the operating costs for our parks be totally in the current fund, have the open space trust fund accumulate most for future parks appropriate acquisitions and improvements rather than operations. Employee health insurance increases due to increased rates, but we also have more people that we'll be covering. And we have a reserve fund collected taxes that has to go up every year. That's to cover those who do not pay their taxes, but later on, we get it back as a payment for delinquent taxes with interest. So on the one hand, it goes up, but then we get it back in the next couple of years. So that's a quick summary of it, and the Township Committee spent a lot of time going over this stuff. So hopefully if there's any questions between now and the 15th, you'll let any of us know, and look at the website if you want details. So now we basically need your authorization to introduce the budget, and Bev and Rob will get all the information and get it up to the state this week.
All right, thank you, Richard, and nice job getting this budget prepared.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Yes. So, Resolution 2024-61, resolution introducing the 2024 municipal budget and set public hearing for April 15th, 2024 at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Municipal Building, 770 Coopertown Road, Delanco, New Jersey. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Carolyn, second by Kate. Roll call, please.
Ms. Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
Ms. Seuss?
Yes.
Mr. Templeton?
Yes.
Mr. Bartlett?
Yes. Correspondence.
One thing just to clarify, that was to adopt Resolution 2024-61, introducing the 2024 municipal budget by title only, and to set public hearing for April 15th, 2024 at 7 p.m., and authorize publication of said budget as required by law.
So if you don't make it by title only, then that 45-page state document has to be read word for word.
Oh, yeah, title only, 100%.
Title
Okay.
only, yes.
Please.
Just want to make sure you did that right. Thank you, Bev.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard, for an excellent job.
You were going to read that whole 45 pages, right?
I would be happy to do so.
Sure. You don't get paid by the word anymore, sorry.
Or they
Any
are, unfortunately.
correspondence?
We do have one matter of correspondence from our tax collector, Jennifer Delaval. She submitted her report of receipts and disbursements for the year ending December 31st, 2023, and also the tax collector's report for the year ending December 31st, 2023. And that is in your agenda packets.
Thank you, Bev, and thank you, Jennifer. All right, meeting is now open for the public for any comments or questions. This is session number 2. If you have any comments or questions, approach the podium, name and address for the record. Ray, anything else?
Don't correct.
About the bridge, we ran over this flood.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that backs up. I mean, and the only other thing is,
Come on up, Ray.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Carolyn did that,
Sorry
yeah.
about that.
Carolyn, me, Matt, we've all been working on that issue.
Red Weber, 22 ships. I noticed last Saturday night, the bridge was closed, but there was no sign out here at Coopertown Road. There was going across, the barriers were going across on our side and stuff. Last Saturday night around 4 o'clock,
Saturday night, 4.
3:30, quarter to 4. There was nothing out at Coopertown Road at the traffic light.
This weekend, the bridge wasn't closed.
What was
Yeah.
that?
It was
Like 2 days ago?
Like 2 days ago, Saturday?
Last week.
Oh,
last week,
weekend.
last week. it
Oh, yeah,
was,
last week
Because I see
it was
I mean,
open,
I live right
closed,
there.
open.
Saturday,
closed.
sorry, Saturday, a week ago. It
Yeah.
was, yeah, there wasn't anything out there and when I went all the way down, and then I had to go all the way back around, and God forbid if there's a medical emergency or something,
Yeah. I guess,
Yeah.
who usually puts that out, Matt, the fire department or the police?
He said Coopertown Road, you mean Cooper Street?
Coopertown, yeah.
Coopertown and Burlington
At the traffic
Avenue.
light
At
he's
the
talking
traffic
about.
light.
The problem with that, and I thought Chief might have brought up to you guys before, the officers aren't just sitting there all day long waiting for that sign to be put
Yeah.
out, so they're running calls.
Yeah.
So they can only get out there to put it up when it's feasible.
Yeah.
And then the issue though is, there've been times where the bridge was closed, they were told they needed to put the signs out. By the time they got out there to put the sign out, they were then told that the bridge was open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now they were going back and forth, like basically playing tag
Yeah.
with the tide. So, but a lot of times though, it's just a matter of them clearing their calls for service that they're on, and then once they're clear, they'll go and they'll put it out. But the last month or so, it's been an issue with the
Yeah.
bridge saying that the bridge is closed, and then it's open. I mean, you saw that.
Oh, I know that.
So, and then
I'm
it's
sending out the
open, it's
alerts.
closed.
Yeah.
Matt's been the one closing the bridge.
Yeah, well-
Riverside hasn't even been paying attention. Matt's the one that, oh my God, it's flooded, we have to close the bridge.
I have
And he
residents
put the
calling me.
sign out.
Yeah, I picked up the
Just-
sign from
you
Public
just
Works on
call
Saturday
me
and put it out there.
To see it.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, as you
It's
said.
crazy.
It's crazy, and what happens too is when that bridge is closed, that turn lane.
It's
on
gonna,
130,
it's worse, it's worse.
Oh, we know.
It's like Warren said, it's all the way back to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, you're not kidding, I know.
Yeah,
And there was an accident right along that area from that.
And we asked too, Central Communications, but happens more often than not as well. The Riverside officers, they weren't putting it out on the radio all the time that the bridge was going to be closed because of the flood. They were calling the Central, and at the time, Central wasn't advising us.
Right.
It was until a resident said, hey, bridge is flooding again, and we go over, we look and say, yeah, it is. Then we would call over the radio to Riverside, but yeah, we know, we're aware, but no one said it.
yeah.
Yeah, and I had,
That's the other issue.
Again, that's communication. I mean, it's gotta happen better because, I mean, me being retired from EMS, God forbid, time is of the essence. And especially if you're in Riverside or whatever, and you gotta come through or whatever, and that bridge is out, you're talking 10, 15-minute loop.
Well, everyone's welcome to write a letter to the Bridge Commission and to the county commissioners. We've all personally contacted them, but every resident,
Yeah.
make a phone call, write a letter, send an email. Noise helps. And this is going to get worse. Every high tide for the next couple decades is going to be shutting down the bridge. And the people need to speak up and make some noise. 5 of us have made some noise, and it's gone into the, wherever. This is a family show, so I don't want to say. Okay? But
Yes.
please,
Our engineer has come up with a pretty common sense solution. Unfortunately, the county engineer wants to argue with us and say, no, it's not going to work. The water comes right up through those storm drains. Put a check valve on it.
John Italiano, go talk to Joe.
that's
Yeah.
what the
That's,
issue
that's
is.
the issue. That's the
He could
issue.
talk to
That-
him
that's-
because we've been in touch with the county every year for the last 3 years regarding that issue, and it's a recommendation from our engineer, and they don't think that that will work, or they don't plan to do it. So John should give Joe a call.
I'll talk to John.
Yeah, good.
We actually had a Zoom, myself, Mayor Kimball from Riverside, we had it with Senator Singleton, who actually did reach out to Joe, and we heard back that Joe said, no, the solution won't work, and there was no explanation given. And Mr. Fox is reaching back out to Joe to find out why. You know, if it's not working, we'd like to know why. It worked perfectly here at the end of Hickory Street. You put the check valve on there, it holds the water back when, during high tide. Obviously, if the rain's coming down, the water won't be able to drain out, but you have the same issue currently, so that's not an issue. And 90% of the issues with the flooding of the road is when it's not raining, so it's a 90% solution.
And plus too, going back up the manhole.
Yep, that's exactly what the issue is.
Where's
Right.
coming up, you put the check valve in there, you got it covered.
Yeah.
Eliminates the problem.
And to Lieutenant Warren's point, we did have that issue in January with the lack of communication from them, and I had reached out as the township's emergency management coordinator to the Bridge Commission, and we finally got the circle of communication done correctly, where Riverside calls Central, Central notifies the Bridge Commission to shut it down, and either Central or the Riverside officers are notifying them over the radio. And then our sergeant is notifying OEM, and we're sending out the alerts and making sure everything is done, instead of putting out the social media notifications, the alert sense notes, sign up for them if you don't have them yet. I'll give you information on that, but we're trying to work on, get the solution done. They did say, Senator Singleton did get from Mr. Brickley that they were going to put some advanced flood notifications up and signage. That's respectfully a Band-Aid on the problem.
Right.
But we're keeping on this. This is,
I know, it's just,
it's not only inconvenient to us all, but much
It's a
more than the
safety issue.
inconvenience, the public safety issue, like you said. Ambulances, fire trucks, police going back and forth for mutual aid, and it needs to be solved. But
Thank you.
thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Ray.
We need to be the squeaky wheel.
Yeah.
100%.
Hi.
John Doyle, live on Walton Way in Delanco. I wanted to ask, are you going to post anything on the township website about the solar eclipse on April 8th? I believe that we're supposed to get like a 90% totality, and the peak of it is supposed to be mid-afternoon on Monday. And if people look directly at it, they could damage their eyes. So from a public safety perspective.
I guess we should
Yeah, I
definitely do
guess we'll do
that.
that. We'll
Thank
put
you,
it out
John.
on social too. Thanks.
Absolutely. I will close my eyes on April 8th.
Don't look into the sun, ever.
So we need to do an email blast on that, I guess,
Yeah.
Ben.
Yeah, we could certainly do that.
All right, very good. Any other comments? If not, we'll close this portion of the comments and questions to the public. And I don't think we need another executive session.
No?
Nope.
All right, have a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second?
All right, Carolyn and Fern, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was riveting.
You are new.
Yeah, what's riveting about that?
You were here for even before that, was the new planning crew. That was
I
even-
know,
That was
I'm
even
not.
before my time.